In our last conversation about why discipline is better than motivation in the long run, I noticed something came up in the comments.
Something quieter, more painful. People kept writing the same thing. I know exactly what I want to do. I just never start. Or I start, and then I disappear. This one is for you. Society has a name for you, too. They call you lazy. Or worse, they call you someone with potential who just doesn't apply themselves. And that label, that word, lazy, has probably followed you for years. Today, we are going to dismantle that word completely, because laziness is almost never what is actually happening. The neuroscience tells a completely different story, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. First, we need to understand why January feels different. There is a psychological phenomenon called the fresh start effect. Researchers at the Wharton School found that people are significantly more likely to pursue goals after what they call temporal landmarks: a new year, a birthday, a Monday. These moments create a mental separation, a feeling that the old, failing version of you is in the past, and a new, capable version is standing at the starting line. That feeling is real. It is not delusion. It is your brain doing something genuinely useful. The problem is not the feeling. The problem is what we build on top of it. Because here's what we do. We make the resolution, and we make it enormous. I will go to the gym every day. I will read 50 books. I will finally launch the business. We're not setting goals. We're building cathedrals in a single afternoon. And the moment we miss one day, something brutal happens inside the brain. Psychologists call it the what the hell effect, coined by researchers Janet Polivy and C. Peter Herman. You miss one workout, and your brain does not say, minor setback, adjust and continue. Your brain says, well, that's it then. Might as well eat the whole cake. One crack in the cathedral, and the whole thing collapses. This is not weakness. This is a deeply wired cognitive pattern. You are not broken. You are just using a blueprint that was designed to fail. To build a resolution that actually survives, you have to stop thinking in terms of outcomes and start thinking in terms of systems. Think of it this way. An outcome is a destination. I want to lose 10 kilograms. A system is the road itself. I will walk for 20 minutes after dinner. The outcome lives in the future. The future is uncertain. The future is terrifying to a brain that runs on fear of failure. But the system lives today, and today is manageable. The psychologist B.F. Skinner spent decades studying what actually changes behavior. His answer was not motivation, not willpower, not a vision board. It was the environment and the feedback loop. Which brings us to the first named strategy.
Strategy 1. Shrink the gate. The cognitive scientist B.J. Fogg at Stanford calls this tiny habits. His research showed that motivation is not a stable fuel source. It rises and falls like a tide. You cannot build a life on a tide, but friction is constant. When the gate to starting is small enough, you walk through it even on your worst days. So you do not set a resolution to exercise. You set a resolution to put on your gym shoes. That is it, just the shoes. Because the brain's threat detection system, the amygdala, scans every new behavior for danger. A big, hard goal triggers that alarm, but a tiny, easy action slips past the guard. Once you're through the gate, momentum builds on its own. The goal is not the shoes are just the door. Strategy 2. Identity casting. Here is the real reason goals fail, and almost no one talks about it. We try to change our behavior without changing our story about who we are. You do not have a reading habit because somewhere inside, you don't actually see yourself as a reader. The social psychologist Amy Cuddy spent years studying how identity shapes action. Her conclusion was simple but devastating. We do not act our way into a new identity. We believe our way into new actions. So the shift is not, I am trying to go to the gym. The shift is, I am someone who moves their body. It sounds small. It is not small. It rewires which actions feel consistent with your self-concept. Every time you follow through on a tiny habit, you cast a vote for that new identity. Miss a day? One vote does not lose an election. That's rare. That's powerful. Strategy 3, the accountability architect. Humans are not wired for solo discipline. We're wired for the tribe. The psychologist Robert Cialdini identified consistency and social commitment as two of the most powerful forces in human behavior. When we declare something publicly, our brain works to align our actions with that declaration, because social rejection, even the imagined kind, activates the same neural pathways as physical pain. This is why the gym partner works. Not because they motivate you, but because disappearing feels like a social cost your brain does not want to pay. You do not need a cheering crowd. You need one person, one honest witness to your intention, and a single moment of public commitment. That is enough to tip the scales on a hard Tuesday in February. So, let's put this all together. You are not lazy. You are someone who was handed a broken map and blamed for getting lost. The resolution did not fail because you lacked discipline. It failed because it was too big, too vague, and completely disconnected from who you believe yourself to be. Shrink the gate, cast the identity, build the witness. These are not hacks. They're the architecture of sustainable change. The fresh start effect gave you the energy. Now you have the engineering to go with it. And if you're watching this thinking, my problem is not that I failed to start. My problem is that I have so many things I want to start, I don't know which one to pick. That's a completely different challenge, and I'll upload a video for exactly that next week. It's called The Scanner's Dilemma, and it will give you the map for that kind of mind. Thanks for watching. I hope this gives you something real you can actually use tomorrow, and I'll see you in the next one.